Hello there YouTube, and welcome back to The Zone, where today guys, we've got another Christian article to get our teeth into. It is one of the last articles we'll ever have to do, and this one is going to be quite an exceptional one, because this is Chris and anger management. It's never going to appear ever again. But just to begin with, I want to guys show you something very quickly. Now, for some of you may not know who this guy is, but let me just explain. This is a League of Legends streamer called Tyler1. He's fairly well known for throwing probably some of the biggest tantrums in the world, but he's also one of the most entertaining Twitch streamers you could find. He also has autism, and for the sake of what I'm about to show you, I'm actually going to take off my headphones because I actually feel as if I'm going to be deaf. Now listen, people respond to anger very differently, and this goes for everyone involved. And I just want to show you, well, just give you an extract of Tyler1's outbursts. So, yeah.
He came to me with the sweetest smile, told me
Wait, am I live? Oh, get this shit off me! Get this beta shit off me!
Okay, a few things I kind of wanted to bring up there. First, when vegetarians find out they're made of meat. Second is that I'm gonna have to turn that down. I genuinely believe that T1's outbursts are a result of his autism. Possibly. I mean, I don't know too much else about. I don't know too much about great detail about how severe it might be for T1, but despite this, T1, his anger is something that has half made him kind of iconic on the internet. Chris's anger and yelling and outbursts are not quite like that, and we're about to get into why. And first off, we're going to begin with a video, and we start off with this quote: "I'm not a man who likes to keep my rage constantly in my heart. Chris, lying." So, let's just
Enough in English class? You have got to be kidding me. I mean, I'm just sick of it.
I am aware this is him during high school. Tasked to make a product. That is not anger. That's Chris trying to force out a shit. That's what he's doing. Oh yeah, that was a big one there.
Iron lights out!
Well, he really struggled trying to rip open paper, didn't he?
Back the fuck off! I am going to shove your ass down your throat and make you eat your underwear!
Wow, 2009. They've got a long way to keep going, because I'll just say this point in is that being angry is one thing, but usually what happens is that Chris's anger sort of manifests into violent prone fantasies, as you're about to experience as we go on. So let's get this show on the road. Chris has anger management issues that usually surface when he is under stress. Trolls refer to Chris's fits of rage as tard rage, an expression normally used to describe the seemingly superhuman strength a normally mild-tempered slow-in-the-mind displays when he or she is pushed too far and goes on an anger-fueled rampage. Although in Chris's case, superhuman and strength can easily be replaced with impotent and bawling. Yeah, again, Chris's child portmanteau seems to incite that he is not quite as angry as he might be, and also a typical fit of Todd rage. Chris looks like he's about to swallow a bowling ball. And actually, we'll start off with these things you'll see at the bottom here. Todd rage, and look at the quality of that art. Ironically like that, because it doesn't seem as if like Chris is trying to show that he has absolutely no teeth at all. You know, maybe he did get hit in the face with a bowling ball. Oh wait, no, there they are. Cause of Chris's anger. Well, this shouldn't be too long, but let's try anyway. Chris's issues with anger may stem from being tormented in his early childhood by his abusive babysitter, whom he has frequently left under the care of while Bob would go out clubbing and taking shots. She allegedly traumatized Chris by locking him alone in a room full of toys. When he was a year old, ironically, nowadays, Chris does the same to himself. Yeah. Another person who may be behind Chris's anger issues could be his late father, Bob. Being Bob's son, Chris would likely have been afraid to retaliate to the things Bob did that fine. Let me try that again. Being Bob's son, Chris would likely have been afraid to retaliate to the things Bob did that annoyed him, such as very rarely washing his hands, making Chris remove videos from that damn internet, and occasionally cutting down Chris's access to the web. Chris then takes out his anger on innocent, well-meaning trolls such as Clyde Cash. Another cause of Chris's anger is that up until 30 years of age, Chris was a virgin. Being a virgin seemed to make Chris feel like he was entitled to be allowed frequent moments of rage. No. And seeing as he only mass-debated twice a week due to his bent duck, he may have had large amounts of testosterone build up in his body he needed to just get out. That's not how that works either. Sexual frustration can make even the best of us a bit cranky, though never to this extreme. Absolutely. Like, one up from that is actual, possibly sexual assault. I can only imagine that would be the next stop. Unfortunately, Chris is... I don't think, well, actually, too many games, yeah, Chris actually does strike me as the sort of person to do that sort of thing. After supposedly losing his virginity to Mia Hamm, Chris did not hesitate in ending his 2-year hiatus from Twitter just to wish death upon Michael Snyder. Way to go, Chris. He can't let go of that. Furthermore, Chris is autistic and therefore lacks understanding of the social restraints of anger. Again, that's not entirely true, but for the sake of Chris, let's just say in his case it is, because he doesn't understand. When he gets angry, he sees no reason why he shouldn't go positively nuts. This and the amount of bottled up stress that autism produces has shown that autistic children can be very short-tempered. However, Chris is not an autistic child. He is an autistic adult. And while other autistics learn how to cope with stress in ways other than tantrums by the time they're in their 30s, Chris hasn't. Somewhat ironically, Chris's autism seems to have caused him a large amount of anger, since the rest of the world will not acknowledge the brilliance of Sonichu, which is apparently directly brought about by Chris's autism. Well, brought about by Chris's lack of originality, more like, but I can see where they're coming from. But the one thing that causes Chris's anger, more than anything, is the lack of control he has over everything. His own ego refuses to allow Chris to think of anything but himself, and when things spiral out of control, as they normally do, he gets frustrated. When Bob demanded that Chris take down the videos of their house, Chris could only flail and tell him that they didn't want him to do, only to tell his fans to take it down for him. When someone pretends to be him and more popular than him, he rages because he feels that it's his popularity, not the fakers. When people...
What was that noise?
No idea. Yeah, and that slam was you, by the way. Maybe it was you, Ollie. When people poke fun at him or constantly question one's gender, he goes into a hissy fit. Chris's anger issues date back to before even the formal beginning of his love quest in 2000. He was prescribed the antidepressant Paxil to help manage his frustration and anger, and he continued to take the drug for several years. Whatever effect his medication had, it clearly wasn't enough. Examples of Chris's anger. The way Chris expresses his anger can be considered confusing to say the least. In one of his earlier fits of rage, he began to shout "Curse Yameha" at several jerk-ups who were trying to kick him out of the local Walmart. In general, Chris expresses anger like an internet tough guy would do, taking out his anger on a video camera, knowing that it obviously can't and won't fight back. This can be seen in one of his videos on Clyde Cash where he seems to be hulking up. He also used to beat up representations of people he disliked in Soul Calibur. On the other hand, even as he is seemingly scared of expressing his anger in real life, he seems to have outbursts when sufficiently pushed as well. Chris was at one point forced to take anger management classes sometime after his final confrontation with Mary Lee Walsh. What happened during this epic struggle is only known in Chris's own words. Let's just go through this and let's see if this is at all reliable. Then that B-dog, well, okay, so no it isn't, ripped up my notes and all, dragged me to her quarters and talked down to me very rudely and hoarsely. I reacted with my own attack that she had been asking for the whole time. I was kicked out of PVCC for a year, and I had to take an anger management course and see a psychiatrist for a while. I was allowed back in. A great example of Chris's anger can be seen in one of Chris's most infamous YouTube's video, his YouTube finale, in which Chris repeatedly threatens poor Clyde, claiming he will indeed strangle him someday. Exactly, this is what I'm talking about. They turn from like tarred rage until him starting to make threats against people. Someday, even going as far as telling Clyde he will even commit this heinous and reprehensive act in a police station, showing that Chris has no control over his angry feelings. The fact that Clyde was only trolling Chris is an attempt to lash out at him for his role in the fictional death of their later brother, Ryan Cash, shows even further how much Chris may still require a couple of anger management classes. His cameras would also benefit from some relief as he often punches them to dramatically end his more rage-infused videos. On several occasions, Chris has also shouted and screamed in videos, and concluded his argument with some of a hyena's threat, and promptly followed this up with his trademark conclusion of saying peace, and showing the peace sign, or with "have a nice day," or something similar. Chris is apparently completely oblivious to how jarring it is to go from yelling, "Get everything off the internet now, to "Curse the trolls, peace to everyone else" immediately afterward. I will be continuing to make my comics at the moment, but any further incident, and not only will I stop the comic, but I will go to the police. Alright, back the fuck off, have a good day. Ladies and gentlemen, you probably already know this at this point, but why did Chris just... Maybe if he just went to the police or went to cybersecurity or the cyber police before, maybe that would have made his life a little bit better. That he felt as if like he could take this all on himself, but he clearly didn't. Occasionally, when enraged, his tendency to type important words in all caps becomes more prominent. Compare these two emails from the Miyamoto saga. The first sounds fairly calm, although he does let loose one or all caps phases. The second sounds angrier and possibly a bit desperate. Chris explaining shit nobody cares about. Also, please inform Mr. Miyamoto, but I have just awoken as inspired Sonichu-wise. I have figured out the opening title for Sonichu's Adventure, the prequel comic for the possible Pokemon Lightning version, and the monetary type collectibles in Sonichu's Adventure. Not rings, but C quarters. The main money and W quarters equals 10 C quarters. And here is the second one. Chris on his knees begging for money so he can fly to Redmond, citing his extensive collection of Nintendo games as reason why Motorola should fork over $700. Listen, people of Nintendo, during my lifetime, my family and I have invested thousands of American dollars and cents in Nintendo. Video games and systems from NES and Game Boy to GameCube, Wii, and DS GBA. I have also attached my list of video games I have in my collection, 90% of which were all bought brand new while available in the stores during this mint availability. Surely you can spot just about under $800 for our trip to Seattle in advance. Yeah. He's somehow trying to make the case that the reason why he should be donating money is because he played Nintendo games. As to whether or not this actually worked, I'll leave up to your imagination. Other examples of Chris's anger show him taking out his Todd rage on his clown doll. In the Take That Page Down Now video, a picture of Clyde Cash was taped to the doll, and Chris beat it like a spoiled 3-year-old who smashes a plate of broccoli because he didn't get his way. He also attempted to rip off its head at one point, only to have it slide out through his greasy palms. Chris would attempt to bite the doll's head off again in the Sign Destruction video, but fans of the doll will be relieved to know that Chris is far too weak to break anything of value. He was not too sure about that part, but okay. He was merely only able to tear off the clown's hat. In this video, where Chris loses it, Chris proved to us that he's able to shred in half a small cardboard box, but is unable to go through light processed wood. The video also shows his poor acting skills only equal his overall stamina, since he's out of breath before the end of the first minute of the video. A rare example where Chris's anger manifested into physical violence against others will be the infamous Blarms incident, where he maced a GameStop employee during his war on Solitude's new arm color. Most of the monologue in the Chris Loses It video. Oh wait, I know which one they're talking about. Excuse me one second here, boys. I believe it's meant to be on a separate channel entirely. Something on the lines of, oh look, that's me. No, sorry. I thought genuinely I might have come across any of my other stuff, but no. Let's see. I think it's meant to be on like CWC Tourist. Let me just. Yeah, I think this might be possibly it. Yeah. Here it is. Here's the video. Chris has probably one of the angriest foreheads I've ever seen in my life. So, let's keep going. Another example has shown that Chris can and will blow up at people even on the telephone. When Chris mistakenly believed that Jason Kendrick Howell had hacked his website, he left an angry voicemail. In the father call, Chris quickly became rude to Casey's father, Matthew, especially when the man came down on Chris for his health and his attitude. Even worse, when Chris had talked to Casey and Liquid, he came up in arms over Liquid's continued referral of Ian Brandon Anderson, and was completely oblivious over the fact that Casey was getting upset over the entire thing. Even worse, Chris attempted to hang up on both Matthew and Casey, only succeeding with Casey because he got his mom and dad in on the conversation. Both instances show that Chris loses his stammering and actually starts speaking normally when enraged. Around the time when Chris opened the mailbag to his adoring fans, another factor that causes Chris's some notable grief was discovered to be the mention of any similarity between high-functioning autism and Asperger's syndrome. We've covered this in detail, and I absolutely hate Chris for the things he said. Chris has shown himself to be quite adamant that HFA and Asperger's are entirely unrelated, despite documentation by researchers suggesting quite the opposite. I'm aware that there are such videos like Autism Tutorial that he did on Little Big Planet, which we might possibly do at some point as well, because I've heard he talks like an absolute fruitcake in that as well. Whilst the anger related to this is of a far lesser magnitude in comparison to, for example, the Liquid Chris saga, it's still clear he is easily irritated by the mere mention of the matter. Chris, in his Wikipedia article on Asperger's syndrome, if anything, the Asperger people are and have been normal. They think they can one-up or even match autism with the lack of social capability and their clumsiness and such. Those characteristics can be faked by them who are most normal compared to us, true autistic people. Yes, guys, let's pledge allegiance to true autistic people. You know, it's when you read stuff like this about the stuff that Chris says, you would half imagine that if you could substitute a few words, you could make Chris be portrayed as a Nazi. Let's think about it. I'll tell you what. Let's actually try and do this. If anything, the Jewish people all have been normal. They think they can one up or even match Germans with the lack of social capability and their clumsiness and such. Those characteristics can be faked by them who are most normal compared to us true German people. I mean, again, I know fine well the thing about, Nazis is a very easy sort of thing to do, but hell, it has to be said. You could substitute a few words out to pretty much give an overall idea about how Chris comes across in these sort of things. And I'm only using that as an example because, listen, I'm not greatly offended. I'm just really, really bothered when people say stuff like that. And I can hardly imagine that anyone else would probably respond just almost the same. But the thing is, listen, guys. I'll tell you what. I'll go further than this. There are people out there who usually do have like spasms and sometimes just react to certain things in their own way. But you know what? Who's to say that they are faking it? I mean, some things can be controlled, but some people just like kind of want to do stuff just because they can, and it's some things can be controlled, but sometimes you kind of like need to like respond in some way to a. It's kind of like an instinct sort of like way to show that you're happy or something like that, and everyone is kind of like entitled absolutely to do that. Meanwhile, I'll just say this much, is that what about people who do have Asperger's syndrome that are in far worse cases that are far more severe than others? Is Chris really trying to say that people who, I mean, Chris calls himself high functioning. I've seen and I've talked to plenty of people who are high functionally autistic. Really, really nice people as well. And trust me, if Chris ever spoke to the people that I'm talking about right now, I think Chris would definitely have a lot more to say about it. I actually feel as if actually, you know what? Considering the people I'm talking about and considering about Chris, I think Chris would just label them as being slow in the mind, fakers, and people who are highly exaggerating their condition. I generally don't feel as if like Chris would come across as kind or sensitive to that sort of thing, or mature, or anything that could not suggest otherwise in my mind. That the thing he just said right here isn't 100% honest, sincere, that Chris really does hate people who have Asperger's syndrome, and as such he will call them inferior to people who are truly autistic. Well, I'm just going to say this much, Chris. There are people out there, a lot of people out there in this world who are autistic. However, there's a big difference between high functioning autistic and coming across as the biggest jerk off you could possibly find on the internet. I'm just saying, Chris, there is a difference. It's surprising at first how irritated Chris is by this matter. However, the Wikipedia article makes it clear that Chris is angry at Asperger's sufferers for stealing the limelight from autistic folks such as himself. He seems to be of the opinion that those diagnosed with the condition are faking it to get attention. Attention that he feels he deserves as an autistic person. See, again, getting attention for doing absolutely nothing of importance and something that absolutely nobody really cares about. Decline of Todd raging. In recent years, Chris's behaviour has generally started to get much less aggressive. Possibly reasons for this include medication. Effects of therapy become more relaxing in his older age, or an increasing but not perfect resistance to trolls and weeds brought on by years of wear. Some of Chris's medication is credited for anxiety relief by him, including Paxil, paroxetine, an unspecified blood pressure prescription, and Valium. He attended therapy after the pepper spray incident, and apparently learned new methods of coping. An example of this can be seen in the revised Sonitude No. 10 issue, which includes a text that appears to be inspired by a therapy session. For examples of trolling which didn't elicit rage, Chris did not go into a fit when the Jeff Francine troll tried to steal his identity, making videos on it but refraining from screaming like he did during the Liquid saga. Michael Haraity's attempts to troll him were almost always met by Chris simply blocking his multiple accounts. Until Chris just gave up and disabled notifications with this kid and let him go on. Similarly, in response to PewDiePie's video dedicated entirely to Chris... Wait a minute, oh no, Chris responded to that video? Wait a minute. Oh no, he didn't. He did not respond to that. Oh no.
Hello.
I just want to like that dog looks so that dog looks so cute. He really responded to it. Wait, let me see if I can find it. 22,000. This isn't exactly gonna be a top. Wait, Caucasian, Blanca Wise is white. Christian channel. And there's another comment I made. How much has changed in 3 years? And no clue. He should get Gloria to do a drag chant check. He thinks he's a goddess. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, 4 months ago I put that in there. No, it doesn't seem as if like it's there, unfortunately. Well, either than that, or probably it just got like lost amongst like, kind of like Chris's room. Maybe his voice just got lost underneath the piles of garbage. Instead of complaining about him making that video, which is completely devoted to criticizing him, Chris instead simply requested for him to direct message him. Okay. On the other hand, examples of when Chris recently raged include Trump's presidency, becoming angry at Weens when they hassled no-whacking about him, having a meltdown when he thought trolls ruined his relationship with Jessica Quinn, and raging at Weens who got him blocked by several people in the My Little Pony fandom, which he follows. This shows that some things still trigger Chris more than others. Exactly, more bias sort of thing. So, my bad side. Can we watch this? Okay.
Just a small update. I am seriously ticked off right now. You do not want to get on my bad side. You do not want to get on my bad side. You do not want to get on my bad side.
Okay, I think the idea is pretty straightforward there, and that's kind of literally all there is to that. And Jesus, like, okay, that was Chris. Okay, Okay, let me go through this again. There's other things we could check out, but I think we'll check this out maybe some other day. Let's just see how long these things are. Okay, maybe just a little bit in detail. So I think we'll sort of like do these other videos like just some other day because there's a lot to get through. Videos with Rage. There's just a whole bunch of stuff here. Okay, so I must remind myself to go and check out these articles some other day. But other than that, that was Chris and Anger, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll just do this again. Just do this one more time. Everything you can see here that's purple is all the articles we've talked about. Everything that's blue is the only ones we've still got left to talk about. The internet, ego, and politics. And I think I might do this in this order. I think I'll do the politics video next. Then we'll do the ego. And then I think we'll conclude with the internet. The reason why I want to do the internet last is because I feel like it's pretty fitting as well that everything from Chris's discovery and through trying to live his life on the internet should be like announced into this article, which I think will be a pretty ironic way to end all this. And then we'll move on to doing these other articles, and maybe we'll do a couple more some other days as it goes by. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, in the thing they concluded with, saying that he still gets angry at some things over others, which I know this may come across as a pretentious thing to say, but the thing where I said about his common sense, I feel as if like he can control this. So, ironically, in his statement about what he thinks about people with Asperger's syndrome, I think he 100% could control his anger towards them. I mean, guys, listen, I've gone angry at stuff before. I live in the UK and our current Prime Minister is Boris Johnson. It's very, very difficult not to get, angry or to not feel disappointed that he is running out this country and just he looks like the biggest idiot in the world. Like, this world is full of idiots, full of people who are, stupid people don't realize they're stupid, and it's enough to make people very, very angry. And I don't know if I should do a video about the things that legitimately make me angry or the things that I'm just really disappointed in this world behind. But I think, with Chris, what Chris doesn't seem to realize is that the more he gets angry, the more he reacts, the more he's feeding into the people who are benefiting this by just sitting behind a screen and laughing at him. It's a shame as well, because if Chris was any smarter than he is, he would have realized that, if I change my act, if I change my tone, not giving the people what they want, not feeding the trolls, he 100% could have won, or at least forced these trolls to get bored and look up somewhere else. It's a shame as well, because even as he's older now, he hasn't gotten any wiser, in more ways than one, and it's a great shame. But and this goes even further beyond, because whenever people call him out, he will act in a very, very sloppy-ish, very childish sort of manner. But I think we'll get to those. There were some very, very big articles I wanted to talk about where Chris just completely acts so in name of himself that it cannot even be described. So hopefully we'll get into those some other day. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this Chris Chan article. Please make sure to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Chris and Anger by The Quickie. And I hope to love you guys again in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.